want to work on cars, and you want to have the tools for it. Well, I'm Demon Machine, and I'm a professional automotive technician at an import shop, independent import shop. So I'm going to show you the tools that I think are the most important that you need to use when you are working on cars. So let's begin. I'm just going to use, this is my tool cart, this is one of my other tool carts. This is where I usually put parts, but we use this to display what we're going to show you. So here we have what I think is the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum before you start anything. These are 3/8 drive right here, and these are 1/4 inch drive. These got a few extra things that I just have in my set, but so these are 6-point 1/4 inch or 3/8 drive set. It goes from, well, mine, it goes from 6mm all the way up to 19. It's the largest size. These are deep wells. These are shallow wells. And you need at least one ratchet. I like two because you got a small one for tighter areas, the bigger one if you need more leverage, or you can fit them there. Sometimes you need longer reach. Of course, you need extensions, various sizes for what you have going on. You can use a shorter extension. You just need that little bit of distance. You need to get very far. This is a kind of an optional but definitely very useful thing, is this 24-inch extension, as I try to drop it. It's very durable and crap like that, but really good for getting some really, it can be convenient. There's a lot of times where you're like, I could totally do this without that. But when you have this, it makes life a lot easier. Same thing on this side, 1/4 inch, tiny little extensions. I just keep them together like that, so that way they stay organized. A small and longer handled wrench, that way I can have different leverages. And then, of course, these go from about 5, this set does. It goes from 6 to 14 on the deep side. It goes to 13 on this. This is just this deep well set I got from Harbor Freight, and they're real cheap. They're like $5, something stupid like that. It was real cheap for that. So the 1/4 inch set, you don't have to go off the chain with spending good money on it, because you're not going to be using it for a ton of torque. You're usually not going to be, trying to break loose a wheel or anything stupid like that. These usually don't take a lot of stress in that regard. I don't think I've ever actually broken my 1/4 inch stuff. I don't think. I may have broken that one once. But these are the ones that, if you can afford it and you can go out and get a really nice set of 3/8 drive things, it will pay you off. It'll pay off. You won't have to replace them very often, and they'll work really well. So this is the beginning point. So start with this ratchets. I mean, you can get away with just one of each ratchet, some extensions, and the sockets. You'll be great. So let's move on to the pliers. Not pliers, but these are the bigger things that you will need if you're going to be doing any kind of suspension work, getting deep into the motor, stuff like that. These are impact sockets. Basically, I'm more encouraging that you have a 1/2 inch drive metric. Also, with all these, just go with metric. You don't need standard. I've never had a real good use for standard. The only thing that ever is standard, spark plug sockets. There's 2 types of spark plug sockets, and that's all you need. You can get the smaller of the 2, and you're typically good unless you're working on GMs. Anyway, breaker bar, very useful. You can put a lot of torque on something. You will need something that I did forget, is to make life a lot easier would be these, as I try to throw them everywhere. These adapters. Adapters are always useful. These are actually, and a swivel. Swivel can never be over or underused. There's a 1/4 inch swivel in there too. I just didn't grab it. But so this is a 1/4 inch to 3/8. So you need maybe a 15, but you don't have enough space. So you just get a really tight, really small bolt, whatever. You can use that to adapt that. Here's your 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, and then here's your 3/8 to 1/2 inch. So you can use whatever wrench you feel like, and then you can use whatever size you need. I do recommend getting impact sockets if you're going to be using it for the black tempered ones, because if you get up into these sizes, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on those bolts and on the socket too. And so this has like extra thick walls, all that good stuff, and that will, help you survive, help the sockets survive the stress that you're putting them under. So 1/2 inch ratchet. Extension, there should be another one that goes under this, but I can't find it right now. It's been lost for like a month, and I'm getting kind of irritated with that. And then, of course, the breaker bar. So that would be a continuation. You probably only just need this section. These are actually standards. These are standard deep well, or standard half-inch sockets. I just put them on there because I didn't feel like keeping them in my toolbox. I use these super rarely. It's oftentimes if this is too deep, I'll use one of these, but very rare on that end. So that's that. Let's put these back and get the pliers. So, onto the pliers. Oil filter pliers. If you're going to do anything with cars, you're going to do oil filter pliers. Really cheap. You can get them from you can probably get them from Walmart. Easy. These pliers, you don't necessarily have to go super grade or anything like that. You can go with just basic hardware store brands. Just side cutters for cutting wires, cutting clips, cutting anything that just needs to be cut. Pair of channel locks. You just never know when you need to hold something. Same thing with these. Sometimes you have to hold stuff still and you got to wrap it around it like so. They're very useful. Needle nose when you have to grab those small things. These are the two optional ones. Don't have to have them in your set per se. It depends on how much engine work you're going to be doing. These are absolutely fantastic for getting off hoses. Small hoses that are just a pain in the butt to get loose. You can put these around them and then twist it, and it'll usually break that seal that is such a pain in the butt to get loose. And of course, long needle nose. Can't really go wrong. This set, I actually have a set of this. Let me get the rest of them. I'll show you how easy it is to just acquire an entire set. This set was $9 at the hardware store. You got right angle ones, you got just slightly angled ones, and then your flat ones. I would recommend all these. If you can pick these up, they're pretty damn cheap. They're really useful. You never have a time where you'll be like, oh, I have great use of these pliers. So this is what I would consider a basic set of pliers that you would want to use. Like I said, this section here is kind of optional. These are definitely must-haves. You'll go nuts if you try to do it without that. Anyway, on to our some more specialty type tools. One thing that I forgot about, standard wrenches. Like, come on. Goes from 6 to 19. Same deal with the sockets. And just want to use that. Other things that are nice. A little piece of plastic trim tool. You can use it to get door panels and things off. Mirror. Telescoping mirror. Something you can extend and look around. Fantastic. A blower. It's always nice. So you can dry stuff off or clean things off. A little whiteout pen or nail polish. Anything like that. Something to mark up stuff. Now, here's where we're getting kind of the semi-specialty tools. I would actually recommend you get a torque set. These are stubby torques, but torques are the tiny, they look like reverse sockets. So these are used in a lot of import cars. And if you're going Volkswagen specifically, this is a set of triple squares, and you will use the crap out of these too if you want to work on your Volkswagens. Optionally, if you don't want to go with these, I would definitely recommend getting a regular set. But to make life easier, a gear wrench set. Again, matters how much you're going to be working on them. You can find gear wrenches any hardware store. You'll have something like this, and they're super handy. Make life a lot easier. One other thing that I forgot to mention: pick tools. Pick tools are a lifesaver. Using these to get under hoses, to like break seals loose, just all sorts of places. These are very useful. So this is that, and all the things that I mentioned previously are pretty much what I would throw under your necessary things. So while I put these back, there's one more tool that I think is goddamn beyond important to have, besides your brain. You're going to have that guy that's like, well, your brain is the one thing that you really need. Yes, you need your brain. Okay, you got to know how to think and how to actually work on stuff. I'm putting these all back where they go, so that's why it's taking me a second. Yes, you got to think and take your time and be smart about it. Ask for help when you need help. Don't break stuff. But besides your brain, that is probably one of my most used tools, also known as the pocket screwdriver. Thing you get free from Toolmen if you buy tools from them. You can get them for like $1.50 at the hardware store. They just simply, it sits right here in my pocket. I keep one of these things at all times. These things are like, these are worth their weight in gold. If you ever worked at a shop or ever plan to work at a shop and you or your coworkers don't have a stash of these, it's because everybody keeps stealing them whenever they find them because they love them so much. Like, you will be trying to get the clip off. Ooh, clip's off. You're trying to open up something or move something or whatever, And there's always that instance where that one little clip or one little thing's in your way, and you got that thing right there. It's basically your fingernails. It's an extension of your fingernails, because there's a lot of times you don't want to use your fingernails, and you end up using that. So that's it. Also, I would highly recommend, if you're going to do something like this, highly recommend getting a pair of carts. This is my tool cart. This is what holds all the tools. This is what rolls around with me all the time. This is the parts cart. This is where bolts go, the parts go, anything I take off a car, they sit in here, so that way I don't have to leave them on the car, I don't have to leave them lying on a lift or anything like that. They don't get kicked around, they don't get lost. They all sit in here. That way, when you're done with your car, this is empty. And you're like, I did good. I done good, boys. So, in future episodes, we can go over things like workflow, how you manage it, what's the ways you can go about making sure that your tools and your process works well. Well, close this out. Thank you for watching. Please leave any feedback, comments in the comments below. And other than that, I will put out more of these lovely things. And if you guys have any specific videos you would like me to make or talk about, please throw it in the comments. Or you can hit me up on Discord, the link's below. Or you can, about best place. I wouldn't bother emailing me. I would never get checked. Bye.